Welcome back to Tipping Point. I'm your host, Kara McKinney. Turns out that about a dozen of the ex-intelligence officials who signed that infamous letter discrediting the Hunter Biden laptop scandal as Russian disinformation were also donating to Joe Biden's campaign and joint fundraising campaign at the same time. Funny how that always seems to work. And yes, that is the letter that the CIA appears to have been soliciting signatures for in order to give Biden a talking point to use against President Trump on the debate stage back in 2020. This latest development about the donations comes to us courtesy of Gabe Kaminsky over at the Washington Examiner. He writes that between May of 2019 and November of 2020, these 12 laptop signers gave a combined total of almost $40,000, one of whom even donated the day before Politico published the letter on October 18th. That was David Buckley, the CIA's ex-inspector general, who also served as staff director for the Democrat-led January 6 Capitol Riot Select Committee, as Kaminsky notes. Other signers turned donors he mentions in the article include James Clapper, Obama's national intelligence director, Rodney Snyder, Obama's ex-CIA chief of staff, Leon Panetta, Obama's defense secretary, Peter Corsell, ex-CIA analyst, and Jeremy Bash, ex-chief of staff for both Obama's CIA and Defense Department, to just name a few. I'm sure the pattern is pretty obvious. Joining us now to discuss both these revelations and to continue our discussion of the Durham report release is Liz Harrington, the spokesperson for the 45th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump. Liz, thanks for being here tonight.
Good to see you, Kara.
Great. So it turns out many left-wing NatSec power players who are bankrolling Joe Biden's 2020 campaign also signed the letter dismissing the laptop story about his son, which would have made him look bad. So what do you make of some of this election interfering that we're seeing?
Well, that's exactly what it is. It's election interference. You know, everything that they scream from the rooftops about with their lies about Russia, 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 they were the ones interfering in our elections the entire time. And that's the key point. This story you're talking about, Kara, is so insane and so scandalous that the CIA was organizing this letter while they're donating to the Biden campaign. I mean, but what could be a bigger in-kind contribution than having the CIA sanction a letter of the most damning information to come out about your campaign and dismissing it as quote unquote Russian disinformation? And these are the experts on disinformation, but they're the ones who've been deploying it. It is shameful. And this Durham report, I think the key thing there as well, it goes along with the story you just mentioned, is this election interference, it never stopped. It's continuing to this day. It happened in 2016, happened in 2018, 2020, and of course, it's happening now as they're persecuting President Trump and his family and the entire campaign.
And that's what I want to ask you about. President Trump, what's been his reaction, of course, to everything we're seeing come out with the Durham report? It just kind of validates everything that we've been saying, especially what he's been saying, shouting from the rooftops for so many years now.
Exactly right. It's total vindication. President Trump's been proven completely right once again, and he's going to be proven completely right about these other hoaxes. And this is the same thing, and largely it's the same people within the deep state, because remember, the same people who were spying illegally on President Trump's first campaign are now running the Justice Department, these sham special prosecutions, hoaxes with the documents, with January 6th. They've been coordinating with the New York office, with Alvin Bragg, with that sham indictment. And they're not stopping. And that's what's so troubling here. There's not been any accountability for the damning revelations that Durham laid out in his report, and they're getting worse. Instead of just spying now they're really trying to falsely imprison their number one political opponent. This is what makes a banana republic. It's not worthy of the United States of America. And if we don't clean house, if we don't get President Trump back in, and he is their number one threat, clearly, because he will clean house, we're not going to have a country left.